What's good, everybody? The most mind-blowing coincidence in history that can't be explained. Shout out to the big man above. Glory to him. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's get to it.
In late July 1900, King Umberto I of Italy decided to eat at a small restaurant in Monza. When the restaurant owner came to serve him, both men were shocked. The owner looked exactly like the king, so much so that they could have been twins. As they talked, they discovered even more strange connections. They learned they had been born on the same day, in the same year, in the same town. They were both named Umberto. The restaurant owner had married a woman named Margherita, the same name as King Umberto's queen. Both men even...
What type of glitch going on?
The restaurant owner had married a woman named Margherita, the same name as King Umberto's queen. Both men even had sons named Vittorio. The king was amazed by all these similarities and invited the restaurant owner to an event the next day. But on July 29, 1900, the restaurant owner was killed in a shooting accident. That very same evening, King Umberto I was told about his double's death. Just hours later, while attending a public event, the king himself was shot and killed by an anarchist named Gaetano Bresci.
Can someone explain this? Bro. This is like somebody coded and it was like, oh, snap. I copy and paste the wrong thing. Let me try to backspace, trash, recycle bin. You know, like, what?
Edgar Allan Poe's Richard Parker prediction. In 1838, author Edgar Allan Poe published The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, his only complete novel. In this dark tale, 4 survivors of a shipwreck find themselves starving in a lifeboat. Desperate, they draw lots to decide who will be sacrificed for food. The unlucky victim is a sailor named Richard Parker, who is killed and eaten by his shipmates. This could have been just another of Poe's eerie tales, if not for what happened 46 years later. In 1884, a yacht called the Mignonette sank in the South Atlantic. 4 crew members survived and drifted in a small lifeboat for many days with no food or water. 3 of the men decided to kill and eat the 4th member of their crew, a 17-year-old cabin boy named Richard Parker. When the 3 survivors were rescued and returned to...
Ladies and gentlemen, how many days was this?
Many days with no food
how
or
many
water.
Days?
3 of the men decided...
Day 18? Bro, look how they they scheming on them. Look how they scheming on them, dog. Hey, what we doing? Hey, are y'all gonna let your homeboys eat y'all up? Pause. Or you gonna scheme with them? I need to know in the chat right now. Yeah, I'm judging y'all too. Let me see, please. Are y'all scheming? Or y'all just gonna sit back and just let the boys just, hey man, you can have that back strap right there, bro. What y'all doing? You gotta do something. Come on. Come on. You fight back. I'm eating. We eating. I'm scheming. No. Bro, why would you drown? Bro, if we on a boat and you get out the boat, hey, when you drown, we just gonna circle back. We're gonna spin the block. Come get you, man. That was easy. What you mean? Drown if you want to. That's free meal. Man. Bro, we could use you as bait. Notice how I say we. Because I'm part of the scheming. Yeah.
to kill and eat the 4th member of their crew, a 17-year-old cabin boy named Richard Parker. When the 3 survivors were rescued and returned to England, they were put on trial for murder and sentenced to 6 months in prison. During the trial, the eerie similarity to Poe's story stunned the public. Poe could not have known this would happen, as he died in 1849, 35 years before this incident took place. Edwin Booth and Robert Todd Lincoln. In the winter of 1864 to 1865, something incredible happened at a train station in Jersey City. Robert Todd Lincoln, the oldest son of President Abraham Lincoln, was waiting on a crowded platform when the train started moving. As people pushed forward, Robert fell into the gap between the platform and the moving train. Just in time, someone grabbed Robert's collar and pulled him to safety. This hero was Edwin Booth, a famous actor and supporter of the Union, the side that remained loyal to the U.S. government during the Civil War.
What is this dude wearing?
Robert knew who the actor was and thanked him, but Edwin didn't know he had just saved the president's son. Edwin only found out later through a friend who worked with Robert. This knowledge would soon take on a tragic significance for Edwin. Just a few months after this rescue, on April 14, 1865, Edwin's younger brother, John Will...
You can't tell me the Matrix isn't real cash tears of joy. Either that or that's just some of God's humor. That doppelganger thing was crazy tears of joy for the people that don't know yes, God.
That is crazy. That is crazy, bro. I don't know how to explain that. Big shout out to the big beta, bro. That's all we can say. Tell everybody a little bit. My bad, brother. My bad, man.
Wilkes Booth shot and killed President Lincoln at Ford's Theater. Think about that for a moment. One brother saved a Lincoln while the other killed a Lincoln. The story gets even stranger. Robert Todd Lincoln was around for 2 more presidential shootings. He was nearby when President Garfield was shot in 1881 and when President McKinley was killed in 1901. This pattern bothered him so much that he later refused to attend presidential events. Tsutomu Yamaguchi's double atomic survival. In August 1945, a 29...
Hey, y'all, before we get to this right here, I was talking to my girl the other day, and I was like, I wonder if they ever going to come out somehow, or they already probably did with YouTube video or books. We know, like, how presidents be having, like, assassination attempts. Like, imagine the ones that we don't know about. The ones that media never told. You know what I'm talking about? That would be so interesting, like, if a security guard from the White House come out and just say, hey, man, like, this right here happened, this right here happened. Like, we know they happen. Gotta be, but it's just that some of them just don't heat social media. I'd love to know them stories.
9-year-old Japanese engineer named Tsutomu Yamaguchi was on a business trip to Hiroshima. On the morning of August 6th, he was walking to the shipyards when he noticed an American bomber flying overhead. Suddenly, at 8:15 a.m., a bright flash lit up the sky. The first atomic bomb had gone off about 1.9 miles from where he stood. The blast knocked Yamaguchi to the ground, damaged his earring, and badly burned the left side of his body. Despite his injuries, he found shelter, spent the night in the ruined city, and made his way to the train station the next day. Yamaguchi was heading home to Nagasaki. On August 9th, still wrapped in bandages and in pain, Yamaguchi went to work in Nagasaki. As he was telling his boss what had happened...
He had to go to work! Man, ladies and gentlemen, bills gotta get paid. Gotta get paid, bro, no matter what goes on. Bills are the devils, bro. Like, my man he got half a body. He's 50%, y'all.
And in Hiroshima, another bright flash lit up the sky.
No!
The second atomic bomb had just been dropped over Nagasaki. And again, Yamaguchi was about 1.9 miles from the blast. The building he was in
better not be the left side this time.
And probably saved him from more serious injuries, though he was exposed to radiation from both bombs. Yamaguchi is the only person the Japanese government officially recognizes as having survived both atomic bombings. Even after being exposed to radiation twice, he recovered and lived until he was 93, dying in 2010 from stomach cancer. Archduke Ferdinand's assassin and
That's
the wrong
beautiful.
turn. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, visited Sarajevo with his wife Sophie. A group of Serbian nationalists had planned to kill him that day, and their first attempt failed when a member of the group threw a bomb at the Archduke's car, but it bounced off and exploded behind it, injuring people in the one behind. After that attack failed, the motorcade continued to the town hall for a planned meeting. The assassination plot seemed to have failed, and one of the would-be killers, a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip, gave up and went to a small food shop on Franz Josef Street to get something to eat. Then something crazy happened. After leaving the town hall, the Archduke decided to visit those hurt by the earlier bomb. His driver, not knowing Sarajevo well, took a wrong turn onto Franz Josef Street. When the driver realized his mistake, he stopped the car to turn around, right in front of the shop where Princip was standing. Princip couldn't believe his luck. The target he had given up on was now just feet away and not moving. He pulled out his gun, stepped forward, and fired twice, hitting the Archduke in the neck and his wife Sophie in the stomach. Both died within minutes. This started a chain of events that led straight to World War I. Soon, all of Europe was pulled into the conflict that would claim over 20 million lives. A single wrong turn changed the course of the entire 20th century. the Jim twins' parallel lives. In 1979, two 39-year-old men named Jim met for the first time in Ohio. Jim Lewis and Jim Springer were identical twins, separated at just 4 weeks old and adopted by different families. What makes their story remarkable are the strange coincidences they discovered about their separate lives. Both Jims, without knowing about the other, had named their boys James. Both Jims grew up with dogs they had named Toy. In school, both were good at math, but had trouble with spelling, and both enjoyed working with wood as their favorite hobby. The coincidences in their adult lives were even more surprising. Each Jim married a woman named Linda, divorced her, and later married a second woman named Betty. Lewis had named his—
What? What type of copy and paste is this? How does the universe work?
Idiot_13 donated $2. You should react to a video on the El Reno tornado, one of the craziest natural occurrences ever.
Married a woman named Linda, divorced her, and later married a second woman named Betty. Lewis had named his son James Allen, while Springer had named his son James Allen, almost identical names with just one letter different. The similarities didn't stop there. Both men smoked the same brand of cigarettes, drank the same beer, drove the same type of car, a Chevrolet.
Two different lifestyles, ladies and gentlemen. Two different lifestyle conditions, how they grew up. How you get the same dog name? How you get the same woman name? Like, you dating for people because they names? And then, you name your pet Toy. Like, you get to name your pet. Betty.
Most identical names with just one letter different. The similarities didn't stop there. Both men smoked the same brand of cigarettes, drank the same beer, drove the same type of car, a Chevrolet, and even took vacations to the same beach in Florida. When scientists learned about the Jim twins, they were amazed. While some similarities could be explained by their identical genes, many others, like the names of their wives, children, and pets, seemed beyond explanation. The Jim twins became famous as part of one of the first major studies on twins raised apart: the Eben brothers' identical deaths. In July 1974,
Let me guess, the same side, bro. You need help, dog. You're thinking about these dudes' testicles? You ain't thinking about the toothbrush color. You ain't thinking about nothing else, bro. You think about
17-year-old Neville Eben was riding his moped along a street when he was hit and killed by a taxi in Hamilton, Bermuda. Almost exactly 1 year later, in July 1975, an even more unbelievable tragedy hit the same family. Neville's brother, Erskine Eben, also 17 years old at the time, was riding the very same moped along the same street in Hamilton when he was hit by a taxi and killed. But not just any taxi. It was the exact same taxi, with the same driver, that had killed his brother the year before. Even more surprisingly, the taxi was carrying the same passenger who had been in the vehicle during the first accident.
This freaking me out, y'all. This freaking me out. This freaking me out. What are the chances of this?
The Greenberry Hill murder
What are the
case.
chances of this?
In 1678, a mysterious murder shocked London. Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey, a well-respected judge, disappeared one October evening. His body was found days later in a ditch on Greenberry Hill, on the edge of what is now Primrose Hill in London. He had been strangled and stabbed with his own sword. The murder became a huge scandal in England. Sir Edmund had recently taken the testimony of a man named Titus Oates, who claimed there was a popish plot, a Catholic plan to kill King Charles II. When Sir Edmund was found dead, many thought he had been killed by Catholics to keep him quiet about what he knew. After looking into the case, 3 men were arrested for the murder: Robert Greene, Henry Barry, and Lawrence Hill. All 3 were found guilty and put to death for the crime. Here's the amazing coincidence. The victim's middle name was Barry. He was found dead on Greenberry Hill, and the 3 killers were named Greene, Barry, and Hill. The 3 lightning strikes on one family. In 1899, in a small town near Taranto in southern Italy, a terrible accident happened. A man named Rolla Primarda was standing in the backyard of his family home during a storm when he was suddenly struck by lightning and killed. About 30 years later, around 1929, lightning struck Rolla's son when he was standing in the same spot in the family's backyard during a storm. Just like his father before him, he died instantly. Family and neighbors were shocked by this incredible repeat tragedy, but the story gets even more unbelievable. On October 8, 1949, Rolla Primarda's grandson, who was
Please don't tell me. He went to the same spot, bro. Please don't tell me.
named after his grandfather, was standing in that.
No! Oh my goodness! You know that's all the family talk about. You know it. His thoughts got the best of it. Like, bro, he probably like, bro, there's no way. And that's exactly how your dad thought. Bro.
Exact same spot in
Cooked.
the family yard. A storm was brewing, and amazingly, a lightning bolt struck him too. The third generation of the family had been killed in exactly the same way.
Why is that house still even in the family name? Why are we even on this? Why did concrete even here?
Exactly the same place. 3 generations of men from the same family, all killed by lightning while standing in the same spot over a 50-year period. The chances of being struck by lightning once in a lifetime are already very small. The chances of 3 related men being struck and killed in the same place over 3 generations are almost impossible to calculate. The Primarda family case was reported in newspapers and later included in books about strange coincidences.
Curse.
Mark Twain and Halley's Comet. Mark Twain was born on November 30th, 1835, the same night that Halley's Comet was passing by Earth. The famous comet passes by Earth roughly once every 76 years. Throughout his life, Twain was interested in this link to the comet. As he grew older and the comet's return got closer, he began to feel a special connection between his life and the comet. In 1909, when he was 74 years old, Twain made an eerie prediction about his own death. "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. Twain said. "It is coming again next year,
Dev
and I
donated
expect to go out with it."
$2.
Twain
The strange coincidence between Cash and his 2K build they both are.
prediction came true. On April 21st, 1910, Mark Twain died of a heart attack at his home in Connecticut. This was just one day after Halley's Comet reached its closest point to the sun on that visit, becoming visible from Earth once again. The comet appeared most recently in 1986 and is scheduled to appear again in 2061. Adams and Jefferson dying on July 4th. On July 4th, 1826, John Adams, the second president of the United States, and Thomas Jefferson, 1826, John Adams, the second
president of the EEUU. Y'all caught that?
president of the
Yeah, I ain't see that, huh? I did.
United States, and Thomas Jefferson, the third president, both died. Even more remarkably, it was the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Both men had helped create the Declaration. Jefferson wrote most of it, while Adams was one of its strongest supporters in the Continental Congress. These two founding fathers had once been friends, then became political rivals, and later became friends again in their old age through letters. As Adams was dying at his home in Massachusetts, his last words were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." What he didn't know was that Jefferson had already died hours earlier at his home in Virginia, about 500 miles away. News traveled slowly in 1826, so when many Americans heard about both deaths at the same time, they were amazed by the timing. The coincidence becomes even more surprising when you consider that 5 years later, on July 4th, 1831, James Monroe, the 5th president of the United States, also died. This meant that 3 of the first 5 American presidents all died on July 4th.
What?
Robertson's Titanic prediction. In 1898, 14 years before the Titanic disaster, an American author named Morgan Robertson wrote a story called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. This story was about a huge luxury ship called the Titan that sank after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic. The similarities between Robertson's fictional story and the real Titanic tragedy that happened in April 1912 are incredible. Robertson's Titan was described as the largest ship of its day at about 800 feet long, very close to the Titanic's 800.
Titanic,
82 feet. Both ships had 3 propellers and could go very fast. The made-up Titan could travel at 25 knots, while the real Titanic was moving at about 22.5 knots when it hit the iceberg. Both ships were called unsinkable, and both had too few lifeboats for everyone on board. Robertson's book even mentioned that the Titan carried as few boats as the law required, which sadly matched the Titanic's situation. Both ships hit an iceberg on the right side while sailing through the North Atlantic in April, and both sank with a huge loss of life. After the real Titanic sank in 1912, Robertson's book became famous again. Many people thought he had somehow predicted the future, but the more likely explanation is that Robertson, who had worked as a sailor with lots of knowledge about ships, simply knew about the safety problems and shipping trends of his time. If you liked this video, subscribe for...
Bro, this was the craziest video. The coincidences, like, you just can't make them up. Great video. Whoever said this video, thank you, man.